right, friends, we're few in here, but we have to be mighty in voices, okay? And all of you online, we join together. Hine Matov, how good it is to be together. Hine Matov, u'madayim shevarachim gam yachad. Hine Matov, u'madayim shevarachim gam yachad. Try that one more time. Hine Matov, u'madayim shevarachim gam yachad. Hine Matov, u'madayim shevarachim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov u'madayim shevarachim gam yachad. Hine matov u'madayim shevarachim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and Chodesh Tov.
Chodesh Tov.
Thank you so much.
What does that mean, Lily?
It means happy beginning of the month. Today we marked the first day of Adar Bet, the second version of Adar in the leap month of the leap year. It's all very confusing, but what is most important to know is that we are finally in the month of Adar that will bring us Purim. And the Talmud teaches us that Misha nichnas Adar marbim besimcha. When you enter the month of Adar, you must increase your joy. And in times like this, in weeks like this, it may feel a little funny to be commanded to be joyful. And I totally agree with that. And yet, on Shabbat, even just for this hour of services together, maybe we can find a little bit of joy in being together, a little bit of joy in entering Adar, entering Shabbat, having this time with each other. And what I am holding on to bring that joy in is the last line, or one of the last lines of our Megillah. And this is the reason why Adar is joyful, because we celebrate Purim. It's a very happy holiday. And one of the last lines of the book of Esther says, La Yehudim haita ora v'simcha v'sason v'ikar. For the Jews, there was light, there was gladness, there was joy and honor. And so while we can bring the joy, hopefully, we can also certainly bring the light. And so I'll invite our bar mitzvah Ethan and his mom to come up to kindle our Shabbat lights and bring us some of that light. And hopefully
Darren,
some
you're welcome
joy
to come
too.
too. The whole mishpacha, if you want to join.
Whole family.
Julia, you want to come? You don't have to. If you are watching at home and you have Shabbat lights to kindle, we invite you to do so as well. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Mazel tov. Ethan, you stay up and hold this Kiddush cup. We'll send down your family, who we look forward to celebrating with tomorrow. As we add a little sweetness to our Shabbat and turn to page 123 in our Siddur. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho me'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zicharon lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemekra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Good job. Do you want to sit? I think it's real wine. But you're a bar mitzvah boy tomorrow. I think that was the real wine. Well, Ethan did a great job singing under his mask, and I know we'll read and teach beautiful Torah tomorrow morning. So we bring in the joy, lift our voices and spirits with the words of Kabbalat Shabbat, starting on page 131. Shiru Ladonai, let us sing out a new song. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo. Sapru v'goyim kevodo v'chol ha'amim nifleotam ki gadol Adonai u'molam me'od lo rahu al kol Elohim yai lai 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 The last paragraph. Romanu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavnu lehar kodsho. Romanu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavnu lehar kodsho. Turn ahead to page 138. As we welcome Shabbat, we imagine personified as a bride entering the wedding banquet. We'll sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and it's our custom that as we reach that final verse, we'll rise and face the door. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לכבודי לקרוא קלה, בני שבת בקבלה, לכבודי לקרוא קלה, בני שבת בקבלה. Verse 5. Another.
So in this week's Torah portion, Parshat Pekudei, the finishing touches are applied to the sanctuary, the Mishkan, the traveling tabernacle, and everything is finally in place. Now tonight, we may not feel fully in place. You may still have the whiplash of the week before or behind you. But with all of us together, everything is exactly as it ought to be, which means that everything is exactly ready for prayer. So we can all rise in body or in spirit for our Baruch, our call to worship, page 146.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, 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 yai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai.
Getting wonderfully longer. We give gratitude for the night. The top of page 149, we read together an interpretation of Ma'ariv Aravim. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Page 150. כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. Be seated. Page 154. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בעם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when nations will be at one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Those words they sang at the seashore, page 158. Each night as it grows dark, we offer a prayer for peace and protection on pages 161 and 160, spread across like a sukkot shalom, like a canopy of peace, these words which are especially needed this week as we continue, I imagine so many of you like me, to be glued to the news, to be watching with bated breath Ukraine, watching the Jewish president who left his young children to join the front lines. We pray that there be an end soon to the conflict, that lives be spared, that there be love and understanding across all the world. And we sing together, page 161. We rise for our tefillah, page 164. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Norah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'konei hakol, v'zocher chasdei avot ve'imahot, u'mevii gula livnei v'neihem leman shemo be'ahava. Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah rav lehoshia, mashiva ruach u'morida ga'ashem, mechalkel chayim b'chesed, mechayei hakol be'rachamim rabim, so'omech noflim v'rofech cholim, u'matzir asurim, u'mekayem emunato, Lishenei afar micha bocha ba'al gevurot u'mido malach melech memit u'mechayeh u'matzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha salah Baruch atah Adonai HaKadosh.
God Says Yes to Me, a poem by Kaylin Hott. I asked God if it was okay to be melodramatic, and she said yes. I asked her if it was okay to be short, and she said it sure is. I asked her if I could wear nail polish or not wear nail polish, and she said, honey, she calls me that sometimes. She said you can do just exactly what you want to. Thanks, God, I said. And is it even okay if I don't paragraph my letters? Sweet cakes, God said. Who knows where she picked that up? What I'm telling you is yes, yes, yes. We take time now for personal prayer, remembering that whoever, whatever is listening has ears of acceptance and compassion.
Osa shalom bimroma, Uyasa shalom aleinu. Osa shalom bimroma, Uyasa shalom aleinu. Osa shalom bimroma, Uyasa shalom aleinu. Yasa shalom, Yasa shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yasa shalom, Yasa shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Osa shalom bimroma, Uyasa shalom aleinu. Osa shalom bimroma, Uyasa shalom aleinu. Osa shalom bimroma, Uyasa shalom aleinu. Yasa shalom, Yasa shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yasa shalom, Yasa shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yasa shalom, Yasa shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yasa shalom, Yasa shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Just as we pray fervently and wholeheartedly for peace, we pray for the healing of individuals, loved ones, members of our community, those in need of renewal of body, mind, and spirit. I'll invite everyone to rise in body or in spirit as together we pray for the names and people in our lives who are in need of healing. Jody Ritter, Barry Fenner, Julie Ann Edmond, Terry Weinstock, Paul Millman, Tiffany Thrower, Elliot Porwich, Jeannie Grumet, Ree and Marvin Weiss, Fred Green, Nancy Hanley, Neil Borden, Esther Schraga, Marlo Wiggins, Carol Sladkis, Dick Stone, Alan Bogner, Harriet Lipton, Hannah Stampelman, Enid Elton, Bonnie Davis, Lori Weinberg, Stanley Cheresky, Bob Glassman, Marty Feldner, Andy Rosenthal, Sandy Warshaw, Avraham Yochanan Dov Lesser, Louis Siegel, Nate Moskowitz, Ari Fox, Keith Schoen, June Foreman, Paul Wiggins, Jody Kahn, Joseph Spinelli, Susie Wolfson, Antonia Nelida Cipolla, Harriet Katz, Pat Ryan, Samuel Phillip, Jerry Gallner, Ian Spire, Norton Bloomberg, Terry Rossman, Julie Ross, Dan Zimmerman, Paul Stampelman, Scott Siegel, Greg Kellner, Daniel Foley, George Simonoff, Megan Kearney Bailey, Jerry Rubin, Tevya Ben Frima Henka, Aaron Serkman, and Miriam Siegel. If there is someone in your life whom you are praying for on this Shabbat, I invite you to share their name aloud so we can keep them in our hearts as well.
We pray on all their behalfs, the middle of page 371. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Be'erachim Otenu Lekor Abracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Refuah Shlema, may they have a swift return to wholeness. You may be seated. At my childhood synagogue, every Shabbat we recited the following lines. Some things, like love or God, cannot be fingered, placed, or poked. And of such things it is wiser to ask, not where, but when. Not where is love, and where is God, but when is love, and when is God. I memorized this snippet of a poem when I was in elementary school, and at this point, all that remains of it is the version that I have in my head. Google and various Sidurim have yielded no results. But in this week's Torah portion, Parashat Pikudei, we get an answer. We receive a stunning moment of God and love, an ultimate when of their presence. The Torah portion reads, at the very end, when Moses had finished the work, the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the presence of Adonai filled the Mishkan. Moses could not enter the tent of meeting because the cloud had settled upon it, and the presence of Adonai filled the tabernacle. When the cloud lifted from the Mishkan, the Israelites would set out on their various journeys. But if the cloud did not lift, they would not set out until such a time as it did lift. For over the tabernacle a cloud of the eternal rested by day, and fire would appear in the cloud by night, in the view of all the house of Israel throughout their journeys. With Parashat Pikudei this week, we finish the book of Shemot. Despite the drama of its early chapters, it isn't only or even primarily about the Exodus from Egypt. As my teacher, Dr. Sharon Corin, taught just this week, it's actually about covenant and relationship building. Over the past few months of us reading together, the biblical narrative took us from the lows of slavery to the highs of liberation, from the demands of the 10 Commandments to the betrayal of the golden calf, and finally to the fastidious construction of the tabernacle. The connection between the Israelites and God has been tested, but neither party ultimately forsakes the other. Their bond survives. The last few lines of the book of Exodus offer a stunning representation of this enduring connection. The Israelites, wandering in the desert, have spent the past several parashot preparing for this precise moment. They've been petitioned for material and monetary donations. They've received verbal blueprints for how to construct the tabernacle, down to the last cubit. They've gotten detailed instructions about what the priests must wear in order to enter the tent, what instruments and implements they need to use for the sacred service, and they've tapped their chief artisans to bring it all together. Now finally, in the last lines of Pikudei, the work of constructing the tabernacle is complete. And instantaneously, the Torah tells us, the presence of Adonai filled the Mishkan. This moment feels a little more magical than our text usually leans. What, was the Mishkan some sort of witch's brew that upon the addition of this final element or ingredient yielded a poof of a divine cloud? I don't really think so. Chizkuni, a French commentator from the 13th century, offers one beautiful interpretation. In the moment of the tabernacle's completion, immediately God appeared because of the affection of the Holy One for Israel. In Chizkuni's read, the tabernacle filled with God's presence right away because God loved the Israelites and wanted to be among them as soon as possible. This is a more personified and emotional perspective on God than we might be used to, but what better ingredient to catalyze this cloudy alchemy than love? The love and attachment went both ways, actually. Rabbi Yaakov Aryeh of Radzymin, 19th century Poland, teaches that the entire sanctuary was filled with Israel's love and longing for God, because the sanctuary and its utensils had come from the people's donations and their strong desire to express the love of God. As a result, the Shekhinah, the divine presence, rested upon them, filling every single possible place. This multi-directional love gathering is a beautiful image. Even if the work of creating the tabernacle was technically commanded to the Israelites, according to Rabbi Yaakov Aryeh, it was done with love and commitment. This love radiated out toward God from each plank of wood, each loop of fiber, each soldered piece of metal. Work, when it's done out of love and not just obligation, can bring about something sacred. I wonder how many of our daily tasks get to be filled with love. Take a moment to think today about all the things that you did, whether your day was filled with household responsibilities, or work calls, or emails, or carpooling. Did you ever get to send love out alongside your deliverables? I admit it, I usually don't. But the image of a tabernacle with a cloud resting upon it inspires me. If I can be a sanctuary, which is a metaphor for another drosh, but we can talk about that, what kind of love-inspired work can I fill my life and days with so that I might receive a cloud of loving protection and connection in response? All of this answers my childhood poem's question. When is love and when is God? Neither love nor God appear like magic in one place or another. They are brought about in holy moments through presence, attention, care, and covenant. Because of their material efforts and their commitment to being in relationship, the Israelites now have the opportunity to live in a world in which God resides among them. Despite, or perhaps because of the roller coaster of the rest of the book of Shemot, the Israelites are now more than ever before God's people. And what comes next in the book of Leviticus is the subsequent step of many relationships. The blazing fire of encounter settles into a more sustained and eternal flame. Through the many commandments that we'll read about in the weeks to come, their connection develops and matures. But for now, we can bask in this holy moment of connection, knowing that the power of love from within and beyond is what brought us right here. We'll rise now to begin the conclusion of our service with Elena. Page 586.
Alinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teikdu l'aliotzer breshit, shelo asanu kagei haratzot, velo samanu kameshpachot adama, shelo samchalkinu kahem, v'goralinu kachol amonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
We turn now to the memories of the clouds, the fires, the loved ones who have sustained us even when their lived presence is no longer with us. In our community, Larchmont Temple is remembering the yard sites of our loved ones, Shirley Kalina, Saul Immerman, Rita E. Slater, Morris Feller, Thelma Flugicker, Jacob Maslow, Gertrude Bennett, Lillian Cooper-Smith, Arthur Gross, Stephanie Randall, Ellen Gardner, Jack Posen, Solomon Feldman, Estelle Levy-Miller, S. Miller-Weissman, Molly Rutkove, Victor Dorman, Bill Davidowitz, Barnett Wald, Morton W. Gilbert, Matthew Rosenberg, Abe Mandel, Isaac Mallister, Miles Godin, Lillian Keyes, Iris Rogers, Nina Soboleski, William Yanoff, Miguel Blaiston, Louis Mazer, Greta Rosenblum, Louise Franken, Melvin Tillman, Irving Roth, Eva Robb, Cynthia S. List, Julius Kaplan, Rudolph Bartos, Howard Weisberg, Jerry Robinson, Gisela Roniger, Frida Rosenberg, Robert Sharon, Harry Kozak, Edmund S. Needles, and Louise Garin. We also call to memory those who died in recent days in a period of Shloshim, 30 days of mourning. Donald Ingram, father of Brian, Aaron and Mara, father-in-law of Lynn, grandfather of Sophie and Emma. Joseph William Zerbib, husband of Diane, father of Thierry, Irene, Michael, and Nick, father-in-law of Robin, Brian, Michelle, and Lynn. Nick Balinson, father of Suzanne, John, and Larry, mother-in-law of Rob, Wanda, and Esther, grandmother of Jane, Tommy, Sarah, Hannah, Jacob, and Carly. Claire Marcus, sister of Alan Reiter. B. Weintraub, mother of Anne, John, and Ned, mother-in-law of David and Lisa, grandmother of Sydney, Jamie, Michael, Sophie, and Kendall. Harvey Stahl, husband of Jackie, father of Lori and Kevin, father-in-law of Arthur and Allison, grandfather of Jacob, Julia, and Zoe. Joanna Silverberg, mother of Michael, mother-in-law of Debbie Finkelstein. Ira Barry Madras, husband of Bill, brother of Steve, brother-in-law of Karen, uncle of Jessica and Rachel. If there is someone you're remembering on this Shabbat, I'd like you to share their name with us to bring their memory to life. We turn in memory, page 598 with Mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash me rabba, be'almad yivrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'galau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabah mevarach le'olam u'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudusha brichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shemaya. V'chaim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for blessing.
May be seated. I want to invite up Martha Steinman, a member of our Board of Trustees and Executive Committee, to share some announcements. Yes?
Shabbat Shalom to those of you here in the sanctuary and those of you out there in live stream land. What a wonderful gathering tonight on a time when we all really need a lot of prayer. Thank you to our clergy for a beautiful service and our band for wonderful music. Ethan, we wish you and your family a very hearty mazel tov. I've read your drash. Anyone who hasn't, go online and read it. You will learn a lot, which is why we're in such good hands with you becoming the next adult member of our community. So mazel tov to all of you. As always, we have a lot going on this week. Tomorrow morning, we have Kever Torah live in the garden room and on Zoom. We have musical Shabbat morning down in the Axelrod and on Zoom, and lots of other wonderful events this week that you can find on the website or in the weekly newsletter. So Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. Rabbi's prerogative, I'm going to plug just one, which is next Thursday evening, and I hope you'll spread the word because this is free and open to the community. We've actually invited our local interfaith partners and other houses of worship to join us Thursday evening, March 10th, as we welcome Dr. Now I lost his name. Dr. Abu Hassan, Tariq Abu Hassan, excuse me, who is the new executive director of the Aravat Institute in Israel. The Aravat Institute, groundbreaking environmental think tank, policy center, center for research, and really transformative place in the Arava Desert of Israel. Amy was actually just there in Kibbutz Keturah where they're housed, like literally a couple of weeks ago, right? And Dr. Abu Hassan is the executive director. It's a place that brings together Israeli Jews, Arabs from around the Middle East, internationals, all working together to fight climate change, to innovate in the field of the environment. And he's making a tour. We're so thrilled to welcome him to hear a little bit about the inspiring work they're doing for the environment and at the same time sowing seeds for peace in the Middle East as they do so. So please join us if you can in person on live stream. So Lily got to share one of her childhood poems, and one of my favorite childhood songs that I grew up singing at Jewish summer camp, though really it's a Shaker hymn, is the perfect one for the Shabbat, where we read about the completion of the Mishkan. O Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary. Each of us, the rabbis say, is a Mishkan unto ourselves. May we, in the Shabbat hours ahead and the weeks ahead, find some moments of that presence, of the love, of the divine spirit that Lily spoke so beautifully about. May we really embody that Mishkan. The words aren't in the Siddur. Hopefully some of you know them and we'll sing along. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary.